Lakeside. The lake is not directly visible from most of this area from the train, but the neighborhood is situated here on the east end of the city, nestled along Lake Superior's shore, only a few blocks away.
This neighborhood was originally known and plotted to be the village called London by May of 1871, and eventually became known as New London. The area was incorporated as the village of Lakeside in 1889 and became part of the city of Duluth 4 years later. Built to service this neighborhood, London Road has become one of the most traveled thoroughfares in the city.
Lakeside hasn't always been the peaceful neighborhood you see today. Much of it was destroyed in the Great Fire of 1918. This fire actually started south of Cloquet, Minnesota, about 20 miles south of Duluth. On October 10, 1918, a passenger train was traveling from Duluth to Hibbing, and some local people reported seeing a small column of smoke next to the tracks. Minnesota was in the middle of a 2-year drought, and with a pile of very dry wood as fuel, combined with very high winds, there was no stopping the fire from erupting. By October 12th, the fire had spread all the way to Lakewood Township, just past the eastern edge of Duluth. Most of the homes and buildings in Lakeside and surrounding areas were destroyed by the fire. More than 250,000 acres were burned that year in Minnesota, and 38 communities were destroyed. The fires caused $73 million in damage, which is $1.2 billion in today's money. Trains were used to evacuate areas, but not before 453 people perished in the Great Fire of 1918.
Oh, what is that? Stop ko na, hindi mo na nag-stop. Oh, tayo pala yun. Tayo pala yung train, what the heck? I forgot I'm on a train. Crazy. Bagpay dagaday aso ta dati bakery da. Oh my gosh.
If you look onto the land side of the train, you'll see a 2-story brick building with a red and white awning. The building was built in the 1800s and was once a fur store, known today as the New London Cafe, and it's a great place for breakfast and lunch. Behind the New London Cafe is a 3-story brick building, white stone accents. It was also built in the late 1800s and is a Masonic temple. Now on the land side of the train, you'll see Lakeside Fire Hall number 6. It was built in 1911 and survived the Great Fire of 1918 with good reason. It's a fire hall. It's the second oldest operating fire hall in the entire state of Minnesota.
Here's the fire hose. Oh, fire station. Yeah, Lakeside. Yep.
October. On the lake side of the train is the area where our pumpkin patch is located for our annual pumpkin patch trains. It's a fun weekend with a lot of activities for kids of all ages.
Superfoods. Superfoods.
We are now slowing to cross the Leicester River. The river was known to the Ojibwe people as Buzapika Zibe, which means Rocky Canyon River. The origins of the English name come from an early settler in the area named Leicester, which is often pronounced Leicester. The bridge is 150 feet long and stands 44 feet above the water. Around 1890, the Duluth and Iron Range Railroad had a station and turntable here and offered daily rail service to this area from downtown Duluth, much like the Northshore Scenic Railroad does today. The Leicester River is a favorite spot for netting smelt, a small fish that was first stocked in Lake Michigan in the early 1900s and quickly spread to Lake Superior. Many people stand in the frigid streams during this smelt run to net the fish. Also swimming in these waters in the summer are kids, as it is a favorite water hole for splashing around it.
There's a mannequin. Oh, this one here. Sweet. Oh, over here? No. Daddy, wala naman. Where? Mas maganda pa sa kabila. Oh, that's right. Oh, kaya pala. You're full load.
I'll be back. I'll be back for you guys. We're debating about giving them a souvenir.
Domino's. Actually, I think it's my first Domino's pizza or my second. Our neighbor next to our apartment always delivers Domino's pizza.
We are now leaving the city of Duluth and entering into Lakewood Township. Milepost 6.5 is distinguished as our yard limit. In order for us to travel past our yard limit, we need a track warrant, giving us permission, or track authority, to do so. Our crew obtains this before we leave the depot from our dispatcher, giving us the track authority to be the only train operating in this stretch of track.
We are also about to cross over Highway 61. As we do so, you will hear the traditional warning whistle. 2 long whistles, 1 short, and another long blast. The engineer will blow this morning at every crossing from now until we reach our turnaround point. The engine crew can tell when we are approaching a railroad crossing because there will be a sign on the lakeside of the train as we approach with a large W on it. The engine crew can tell when we are approaching a railroad crossing because there will be a sign on the lake side of the train as we approach with a large W on it. This W stands for whistle. You can watch for them too. please join me in giving a smile and a wave to all the courteous vehicles that have stopped for our train.
This is also a section of the line
We
we'll be
passed by
passing
to it.
into the North Woods, and there's a little less scenery until we reach the French
late.
River. Now is a great time to get up, stretch your legs, and wander about the train. However, you may have noticed that our train speed has increased a bit now that we've left town. So be sure to walk with care, and parents, please accompany your children when wandering the train. Something as beautiful as the changing colors of autumn carry with them the hint of winter and the truth about the inevitable demise of summer. The analogies to life are not lost on poets and songwriters, the wordsmiths who paint in color with lyrics and prose. French composer Joseph Cosma first wrote one of the greatest songs of the season in 1945 when he penned the music to Les Feuilles Mortes, literally translated as The Dead Leaves. Not very romantic. That all changed in 1947, though, when American composer Johnny Mercer picked up the melody and translated the lyrics in a more positive and romantic way. And Nat King Cole made his version of Autumn Leaves a million-selling, and fittingly so, gold record.
Oh my goodness.